fall in the air for the season opener between Notre Dame and Michigan.
Number 25, John Vaughn.
The Wolverines now coming out of the tunnel and about to step onto this field at Notre Dame Stadium under the guidance of the new coach. Here come the Wolverines. Michigan, the Big Ten champions last year, 10-2 record, went to the Rose Bowl. Now backstage, Notre Dame leaving the locker room.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Right here, it's time. Here we go. It's time. It's time.
Lou Holtz will lead them out, entering his 5th season. He led the Irish to the national championship in '88. They finished 2nd last year to Miami, going 12-1 on the year. They'll take the turf where they have not lost since 1986, 17 in a row at home. We've got a matchup of the 2 winningest programs in Division 1A history. Michigan and Notre Dame coming up from South Bend.
CBS Sports presents college football. Live from Notre Dame, Indiana, it's the Michigan Wolverines versus the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Tonight's CFA game is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers. They'll get you noticed. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Welcome back to a packed house here at Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame against Michigan. And just moments ago, we lost one of the 4 light stanchions here at the stadium. One of the banks is out, but they told me the Musco people who produced the lighting said that they can play even though it's slightly darker. And they have a backup generator which they will roll across to that stanchion and hopefully get those lights back on. Right now it's a little bit darker, but certainly the conditions are playable. Back to you, Jim Nance.
All right, Doc, an odd twist. It's the 8th anniversary of the first night game played here at Notre Dame Stadium. It, of course, took place between these 2 teams. They said we'd be in store for a lights out kind of a ball game tonight. I didn't know what they meant exactly. Now I do.
They've only played 14 night games in this stadium. Just makes the shadows a little bit longer.
59 degrees at kickoff, and Notre Dame has won the coin toss and elected to defer until the second half. They will kick away to Michigan. That's Craig Hendrick, number 28, sophomore kicker and punter for the Irish, who will boot away to Derek Alexander and Desmond Howard. Interesting, it'll give Rick Meyer a chance to perhaps loosen up for a while too and stay on the sidelines, let this game get started with the defense first for Notre Dame. Hendrick, a big kick 8 yards deep, and Howard downs it for a touchback. Now an inexperienced backfield for Michigan as well. Sophomore quarterback Elvis Gerbach starts. He did have 4 starts last year and was perfect as a starter, 4-0. In the backfield, he is joined by Jared Bunch, the fullback, and John Vaughn. The receivers, Howard, a high school teammate of Gerbach, and Derek Alexander. Dave Diebolt is the tight end for the Wolverines, a junior. Diebolt shifts to the left side. Alexander in motion. A running play right away to Bunch. Runs into the wall of Notre Dame defenders at the line of scrimmage, including who else but Chris Zorich, the All-American nose tackle. Now the Wolverines' strength is right up front. All of their starters on the line return, including Steve Everett, a sophomore. The guards are Elliott and Dingman. And the tackles, Tom Doring and Greg Skrapanek. No gain on the first play for the Wolverines. 2nd down and 10. Gary Moeller, 20 years he's been associated with the Wolverines under Bo Schembechler. Played for Woody Hayes at Ohio State. Now the eye, they run it with Vaughn, who fumbles the football. And right away, it's recovered by Notre Dame. Greg Davis on the recovery.
There was confusion before this play was called. Gerbach couldn't get the call. Then once the handoff was made, he never really had the handle on it. Keep in mind, Notre Dame hadn't turned the ball over in 2 years against this club, and that's made the difference. This time, Michigan makes the critical turnover here.
And Rick Meyer will start from the 26-yard line. Running play to Rodney Culver, the fullback, inside the 20 and down to the 15-yard line. Tackled in the secondary by Veda Murray. That'll get your confidence going. Rick Meyer from nearby Goshen, Indiana. In the backfield, he's joined by Culver, the fullback. Ricky Waters, his senior co-captain tailback. The receivers, Tony Smith and the Rockets. Derek Brown is at tight end. And a dangerous threat. Lake Dawson, a freshman, is in as a receiver. Split wide to the left. Ismail in a slot. Here's a running play. Ricky Waters for a short gain. Waters trying to run behind the offensive line that starts at center with Mike Helt. And what about the rest of this line, Timmy?
It's an active one. Only 2 veterans, of course, Ryan and Helt. Jerkovic comes in and starts. This offensive line has not played together in one scrimmage this entire preseason because of injuries. They didn't even know if Helt, the center, was going to start. They were going to start a freshman there, Tim Ruddy.
McGuire and Knapp are the tackles. Knapp in for Justin Hall. On 2nd and 9, Culver, right side, inside the 10, and about a yard shy of the first down at the 6-yard line. A gain of 8.
Jim, Notre Dame has come out with formations that they haven't shown in the past. 3 receivers to one side, what Lou Holtz calls trips. But first of all, let me dispel a myth. It's been called a new diversified attack this year with the new quarterback. But in reality, it's the same offense with different emphasis.
Well, this is a team last year in beating Michigan only threw the football twice at Notre Dame. Now fullback field. Tony Brooks comes in and a double tight end formation. Irv Smith on 3rd and 1. Brooks gets the carry, bangs around near the first down.
Brooks on the carry.
First down for Notre Dame. Tony Brooks picks it up, and he returns to the Irish in Lou Holtz after sitting out a year. Brooks, one of 3 players who saw considerable action on the '88 championship team and then ran into problems with the university, suspended last year and set out the season. They all 3 have returned, Williams, Stonebreaker, and Brooks. 1st and goal play, inside give, Culver down to the 2. Pickup of 2. Culver from Detroit, Michigan, has to fill the spot that was last year held by Anthony Johnson.
He's got 3 carries now, 20 yards. He's not a big guy. He's short, just barely 6 feet, but he does go 220, so he's got a low center of gravity, and he's really been carrying the ball most of the time here in this first series for the Irish.
Waters is out. Brooks is in. Irv Smith, number 84, is tucked in on the left side as a double tight end set formation for Notre Dame on 2nd and goal. Running the option, Meyer will keep it and score. minutes, 32 seconds into this contest. Notre Dame converts on the turnover. Meyer on the keep, and a key block from his fullback, Rodney Culver. Hendrick will attempt the extra point. Jimmy Sexton on the hold, and the kick is good. How about that? They said this would be a different look. You nixed that, and indeed they scored on the option play, Timmy.
Came down to the option, no big thing about it. They told Meyer he didn't have to win the game. Just protect the ball and don't do anything dumb. Here's a guy with All-American potential, the tight end, Derek Brown. I want you to watch what he does on Notre Dame's first touchdown, because he's the guy that makes this thing work. Here he is right here, the tight end. Now watch the cutoff block he makes on the option. Here's Derek Brown. Great release, makes the contact, holds him there. Now Derek Keys, 26 in white, has to commit either to the quarterback or the pitch man. His responsibility is the pitch man. Meyer was free, the quarterback, and he scored.
A 27-yard drive in 6 plays. That is the longest touchdown drive by the Notre Dame offense in the last 3 years. They've won the last 2 games, but of their 4 touchdowns, 3 were by special teams. Only 1 by the offense. The kick comes to Howard at the goal line. To the 23-yard line, Andre Jones wrestles him down. Now we have a chance to meet the Notre Dame defense, headed by Chris Zorich at nose tackle. Defensive tackles flanking him, George Williams and Bob Dahl. Good linebacking core as well for the Irish.
Linebackers are active. Of course, Stonebreaker comes back, you know, after his problems, and we'll talk more about that. DeVos comes in. Kowalkowski is a very active guy that sits out there, and Andre Jones will alternate with Donnie Grimm.
First and 10. Gerback brings the Wolverines to the line of scrimmage, the 23-yard line. Don Grimm is in on defense for the Irish. Little screen to Vaughn. Vaughn tackled at the 31-yard line. A gain of 7, and a tackle by the All-America corner, Todd Light. Todd Light is the experienced player in that Notre Dame secondary.
He is also the first read for Gerback when Gerback comes to the line of scrimmage. He looks to see where number 1 is lined up.
Second down and 3, or 2. Vaughn, first down, Michigan. And out to the 41-yard line, a gain of 10. Don Grimm on the tackle. We're talking about that Irish secondary. Todd Light is joined by Rod Smith at the other corner. Smith, a new starter, and 2 new safeties, Greg Davis and George Poorman, who is blind in one eye. What a story. He is the starting free safety for the Irish. First and 10. Yale Van Dyne has come in as the receiver. He's up to the top side of your screen. Vaughn across midfield and into Notre Dame territory at the 40-yard line. A 19-yard pickup. Tackled by George Poorman and Rod Smith. Hurry up offense for the Wolverines, catching the Irish off guard.
Notre Dame's front 7 has to help this secondary, and right now they've got to be more active on the run. Vaughn's just a young guy. He's only a sophomore, but he's the fastest player on the Michigan team. Junior Olympic sprint champion.
So, no huddle offense. First and 10 from the Irish 40. Drop back. Gerback over the head of Desmond Howard. Gerback came in last year and replaced the injured starter Michael Taylor at quarterback against Notre Dame and was 17 for 21 in the contest, over 80%, and threw 2 touchdowns in the final 13 minutes. But of course the Rocket, Raghib Ismail, ran 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns in the second half to give Notre Dame the 24-19 victory. Second down and 10. Play action fake to Vaughn. Right side, pass is incomplete. Howard was the intended target. Notre Dame Stadium on a beautiful mid-September night. 59 degrees, clear skies. Season opener for these two. Notre Dame scoring the first time it had the football tonight. Michigan's second possession. 3rd and 10 from the Irish 40. McDonald on the rush. Gerback will come out of the pocket. And he's near the first down yardage at the 30. This will be close to the first. Gary Moeller may face his first decision as the Wolverines coach.
Interesting strategy by Gary Moeller, new coach, coming out being very aggressive, trying to set a quick tempo, not letting the defense get set or get into a rhythm, coming out, not huddling long, coming up and running the plays quickly. Quarterback Gerback, as they bring out the chains, didn't really play much. Didn't play high school until his senior year, didn't start. Played behind a guy who's not even playing in college now. So he doesn't have a whole lot of experience, but as you mentioned, as a starter, 4-0. Going to be just that shy.
And it is decision time for Gary Moeller. Illinois today with a 1-point victory over Colorado. Cal competed early with Miami before the Hurricanes got on a whirlwind. So Michigan showing that it's going to go for it.
Keep in mind, Michigan has one of the biggest offensive lines in the country. 3 All-American candidates on that line. It averages 6'5", 290 pounds. They ought to be able to get that push in a short yardage offense to get a yard, less than a yard.
Let's see if Gerback works on his cadence as well and tries to draw the Irish off. Lining up in the eye, Bunch, and Vaughn behind him. 4th and less than a yard. Bunch gets the first down for Michigan. Inching past the 30-yard line.
He did not have a good handle on that football, just barely hung on. Got the first. You know, that offensive line is bigger than most professional offensive lines. Watch the push now, short yardage. There's the middle. See Zords trying to get that new line of scrimmage a yard deep, couldn't do it. He was too low. Great push off the line of scrimmage by Steve Everett, Dingman, Skripnik. They just followed them right up there.
Hurry-up offense continues for Michigan. And 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Alexander in motion. Delay give to Vaughn, slashing to the 25-yard line. He was tripped by Don Grimm. A lot of new faces at the skill positions for the Wolverines. Callaway, McMurtry gone as the receivers. Horde and Bowles, the running backs, out. Horde on now to the NFL, Cleveland Browns. 2nd down, 6. Van Dyne as a receiver. The top of your screen. Vaughn gets away from Stonebreaker and only nets a yard as Greg Davis makes the tackle. Let's go down to the sidelines now and get a report from John Dockery. John?
You know, Jim, as a former defensive back, I was just thinking what that no-huddle, hurry-up offense does to you. It really doesn't give you time to regroup, come back in the huddle, talk to one another about adjustments, and to make those adjustments. It really puts a lot of pressure on a defensive team. Plus, you can't get the substitutions into the game. Back to you, Jimmy.
A substitution, a tailback for Michigan right now. Alan Jefferson, senior from Detroit, comes in for John Vaughn. 8 minutes left, first quarter. Notre Dame 7-0. 3rd down and 5. Jefferson with the carry. Twisted down by Stonebreaker, shy of the first.
Ball was loose. They said it was down. It's going to be Michigan's football. You know, Allen Jefferson has been hampered by injuries throughout his career. That sometimes makes a guy a little bit tentative. He's the lone senior at tailback, high school All-American, was on the Detroit Dream Team, but he's had trouble holding on to the football. That's concerned the coaches, and that's one of the reasons he wasn't starting.
Allen Jefferson will turn 22 on Monday. This time he comes up 2 yards shy of the first, and J.D. Carlson will attempt the field goal. Straight away kick, 38-yard attempt. Ken Solomon on the hold. Carlson's kick is good. And Michigan is on the scoreboard. 7 minutes, 1 second remaining in the first quarter. Notre Dame leading over Michigan 7-3. You know, you talk to the players, they say Gary Moeller is very much like Bo Schembechler. But one thing that was pure Bo, those old locker room speeches. Remember them?
No man is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. The team, the team, the team. And if we think that way, all of us, everything that you do, you take into consideration what effect does it have on my team.
The team, the team, the team. I spoke with Bo this afternoon, and I asked him about his meeting yesterday. He got together with the Wolverines before they left Ann Arbor, and he talked to him. I said, did you give him the team, the team, the team? He said, I think they were expecting it, but I didn't give it to him. Bo is home watching this game on television tonight with his wife, Millie. Here's the Rocket, his first return of the season. Oh, he nearly got away. Tackled at the 25-yard line. They kicked right at him, too. Todd Plate on the tackle.
He is so dangerous. Returned 2 touchdowns from kickoffs last year. Beat this team, really, single-handedly. Got a lot of help from the other blockers, but it was Rocket. His ability to fly and move.
He got the game ball for that victory last year, and he was very uncomfortable with it. He told Coach Holtz he'd like to distribute one to each member of the special teams.
He's the most exciting offensive player in college football, Jim.
First and 10 from the 25. They come in on Myers. He was about to attempt his first pass, and he is sacked by Eric Anderson. Chris Hutchinson as well. Michigan defense, Osmond, the nose tackle. Evans and Hutchinson join him on the line. Osmond replacing Mike Teeter at the nose this year. The linebackers, Milligan and Anderson. They're the inside backers. Outside, Townsend and Marshall. Second down and 18. Rodney Culver. Ricky Waters comes along with him. Townsend and Milligan on the tackle. Now you got Rocket as the most exciting player in college football. There's no question about his speed, but right now the most exciting player in college football is Ty Detmer.
Well, in his performance thus far, but this is Rocket's debut.
Yep.
Detmer has been sensational, through 5 more touchdown passes today, but the thing about Ishmael is his phenomenal speed, excellent balance with instinct and intelligence. He just has the full package.
Detmer led BYU back from a 29-7 halftime deficit. Through those 5 touchdowns, led him to victory. Third down pass play, leaping grab by Ricky Waters, and a first down for Notre Dame. What a catch. 17 yards on the reception.
This is Myers' first pass of the night. They had run the ball 7 times. Sets up, looks, and fires a strike to Waters. Now, Waters has ranked among the nation's leaders over his career in all-purpose yardage. But the most impressive statistic to me is his consistency, averaging almost 12 yards every time he touches the ball.
First and 10 from the 39. Brooks is in the backfield. He takes it on the pitch to the 44-yard line. A gain of 5. Milligan on the stop. Mike Evans joins him as well on the tackle. The Wolverines secondary, and it's a good one. David Key at one corner, Lance Doughton. Todd Plate will play as well quite frequently for Michigan. Trip Welburn and Veda Murray, the 2 safeties. Welburn and Todd Light are ranked as the 2 top defensive backs in college football.
Secondary is definitely the strength of this Michigan team.
2nd down 4. 3 receivers set to the left. Brooks picks up 2. Running into the middle of that defensive line, Eric Anderson, and Sylvester Stanley in the game now. Makes the tackle.
Evans and Milligan made the tackle. Gain of 2.
We asked Rick Meyer prior to tonight, the biggest football game you've ever played in, and he said that's easy. It was the high school state championship game, played at the Hoosier Dome before a packed house. He led Goshen High School of Indiana to the state title, passing for 395 yards in that game. 3rd and 2. Busted play, but look at this. Composure. He picks it up and picks up the 1st down. Looked like some confusion there for the Irish.
You know what I think the confusion was? There was no contained man on that side. I think he was shocked. There was no end there to option. So he finally tucked it away and took it around the corner. Again, let me reiterate. Lou Holtz told him before this game, he says, you don't have to win the game. Please don't go out and try to win the game. Just don't make mistakes. Just play within yourself. Protect the football.
He's done it thus far and scored the touchdown in this game. Here's his first pass. It's a completion to the Rocket and a 1st down at the Michigan 35-yard line. A gain of 13 on that play.
All-American against All-American. Ismail finally stopped by the All-American Trip Welburn, the strong safety, but watch his push. See, they've got a rotation. They're bringing up the cornerback on that side, trying to get him up for containment. That means that the strong safety, number 3, Welburn, had to come over, and had he not made that tackle, that guy right there had some running room.
Rodney Culver is the lone back. The Rocket to the sidelines at the moment. Adrian Gerald in as the receiver, replacing Ismail. On 1st and 10, option left, and the pitch to Culver. A nice lead block by Waters, but his man fights off the block and helps on the tackle. Lance Dotton. Thought for a moment he might have some room. 5 carries, 29 yards for Rodney Culver.
Notre Dame has been using 3 wide receivers. Now watch this. See this guy right here? Watch him come down and set a block here as the play comes to the outside. Watch this now. They're not only pass receivers, but sometimes they're clear-out guys. This is a crackback, a legal one, because he hits him above the waist. That sets up a pretty good little play around the corner. Dotton, however, number 22, made another nice play, forcing it back inside to the pursuit.
2nd and 6. Gerald and Blake Dawson to the right, but they'll run it left. Ricky Waters shifting to the left and picks up the Notre Dame 1st down at the 22-yard line.
Waters is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He's become a more physical runner. He's added 10 pounds of muscle, so he doesn't just rely on speed and elusiveness now. Watch him finish the run, put his head down, try to drive into Key, number 26, the strong cornerback.
Did you see that block by Culver on Alex Marshall to help free him? Wow. Culver's the lone back. 3 receivers now. There's the formation you mentioned. Culver gets the carry. Inside the 10. And down to the 1-yard line. They'll say he stepped down at the 2. A gain of 20. Minutes, 2 seconds left in the 1st quarter. Notre Dame leading 7-3 and threatening again to go in.
Outstanding cutback. You saw the action was going to the left side of your screen. He made the cutback and came all the way back to the outside, where the only guy there was Veda Murray, the free safety.
Smith and Brown are the 2 tight ends. Culver and Brooks in the backfield. 1st and goal for the Irish. End zone, touchdown, Notre Dame. rushes, 2 touchdowns for Notre Dame, driving 75 yards this time in a series that started on a quarterback sack. They overcome that. Hendricks' extra point is good.
You know, this could be the best talent Lou Holtz has had, but not necessarily the best team. That still has to be proven. There's a lot of question marks. But right now, the offensive line, which has not played that much together, is now exploding. The Notre Dame rushing attack has been among the best in the nation the last 3 years.
Here on CBS, it all starts with the NFL today at 12:30. Greg and Terry, Leslie and Pat will be there. And that'll be followed early. Most of the nation will see Chicago at Green Bay, plus other regional action. Rams will go against the red-hot Tampa Bay Bucks. And later, the headliner is the Redskins 49ers clash. The Giants go against the 1-0 Dallas Cowboys and the Saints Vikings. That's tomorrow. CBS Sports doubleheader day.
How about the Green Bay quarterback situation? Dilweg, Magic's back now.
They're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Hard to sit Dilweg down after the preseason and first game he had.
Look good against the Rams. Here's the run back by Alexander. Oh, somersaults forward to the 26-yard line. And let's get an update as we return you to New York. Take it away, Andrea Joyce.
Jim, we're going to check in on the pennant race in the NL West. September is heating up. Ramon Martinez shuts out the Reds for his 18th victory. The Dodgers have taken the first 2 games of the series. They cut Cincinnati's lead now in the West to 4.5 games. Meanwhile, in the NL East, if the Pirates lose tonight, their lead is down to a half game over the Mets. Now let's go back to Jim Nantz.
The Mets won earlier today, 4-2. Vaughn is in the backfield. They'll alternate Vaughn and Jefferson today at tailback. 1st and 10, Michigan from the 26.
Too much time.
Down clock expired on the Wolverines.
That's the first penalty of the night. John Sophie's mic, you couldn't hear him, but it was delay of game by Michigan. Right now, Elvis Gerback looks a little bit unsettled. 2 times now we've seen him have trouble getting the play from the sidelines. He couldn't read the signal, or he couldn't interpret it properly. And so, consequently, the play clock wound down. This time they were nabbed.
It's hard enough to come in here as a sophomore quarterback, but then when you have to face a 14-3 deficit this early, it can take you out of your whole game plan. 1st and 15. Flag is down as Vaughn carries the football in a one-man tackle. One-man tackle by Sean Smith. Back up to Andre Jones.
Smith, the tackler. There's a flag on the play.
Again, John Sophie
Offside, Notre Dame.
showing the offside penalty against Notre Dame. Maybe it's Sophie's choice to have the mic off here tonight. They'll get back the 5 yards.
You mentioned Sean Smith. There's another sophomore. Team is just loaded. It's laced with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Speaking of Notre Dame, of course. Matter of fact, Lou Holtz was credited with having the best recruiting class in the nation.
John Vaughn returns. And it's 1st and 10 from the 26. Play action. Gerback hits Alexander near the 40. Gain of 13. That's what you call a one-on-one play. Number 1, Derek Alexander challenging number 1, Todd Light. And they get the completion. Gary Moeller has been a head coach before. That was at Illinois in the late 70s. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines from the 40. Vaughn on a 3-yard pickup. Bob Dahl tripped him up. Coming up on the 1 minute mark remaining in the first quarter. 14-3 Notre Dame over Michigan. Do you think this hurry-up offense is really working now against the Notre Dame defense?
Let me just answer that by saying this. Michigan has had 6 yards per carry thus far tonight. Notre Dame 4.7. So it has been successful, but they've turned the ball over, and that's been critical.
2nd down 7. The fumble by Vaughn set up the first Notre Dame touchdown. Second possession, Wolverines got a field goal. With the ball for the 3rd time now. Michigan gets to the 45. Zorich tackling Vaughn, just dragging him down. Chris Zorich, senior from Chicago, Illinois. Zorro, they call him. Same high school as Dick Butkus, south side of Chicago. Came here as a 220-pound linebacker. And after his freshman year, Lou Holtz moved him from linebacker to nose tackle. 3rd down 5. Here comes the blitz. Ball is batted down. George Williams on the attack along with Stonebreaker, and I believe Zorich knocked it down. Let's take
Watch
a look.
it come right here in the bottom of your screen. Stonebreaker came, Williams came from the backside.
It hit Zorro right on the helmet.
You know, Gerbic is 6'5", 218 pounds. I tell you that because it's an asset. You have to be big and tall just to see over the offensive line.
Well, that was the final play of the first quarter. 14-3, Notre Dame will return to Notre Dame Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Notre Dame Stadium on a beautiful night. As we begin the second quarter, the #1 ranked team in the nation leading Michigan, the 4th ranked team, 14-3. The Irish have had the football twice and have scored twice. The Goodyear blimp America tonight hovering overhead, and our captain Larry Chambers from Spring, Texas, providing us a spot to put in a camera and bring you some extraordinary pictures. Fourth and 5 for the Wolverines. Eduardo Azcona will punt. The deep man on the return for Notre Dame is Raghib Ismail. Line kick comes to the Rocket at the 18, and he called for a fair catch and then took off.
Actually, Rocket didn't call for it. George Poorman did. They up back, the free safety. He called for the fair catch. He was going back like a shortstop going back for a pop-up, and then the Rocket came up and made the catch and started the run. He never did see the hand. Watch this now. See number 27 right there in the middle of your screen? That's George Poorman calling for the fair catch. Now here comes Rocket concentrating on the ball. He never did see the hand go up, so he's ready to take off. I don't think Rocket knows what fair catch is.
They probably have a few words with George Foreman about that. Wait a minute.
Say, that's not my style.
Don't fair catch my returns.
That's funny.
From the 18, operating out of the eye. Tony Brooks is the tailback. Taking it on the pitch, has an open hole, and picks up 8. Maybe a gain of 7. Alex Marshall on the tackle.
You know, you can summarize that first quarter by saying Michigan turned the ball over once. That led to a touchdown. They were 0 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. Could not get that offense going when they really needed the tough short yardage. In between the 20s, they moved quite effectively.
2nd down 3. Waters comes in for Brooks, but he's in a slot to the right side, along with the Rocket and Smith. Running play, Culver trying to scoot his way near the first down. Will be about a yard shy. Eric Anderson on the tackle. Rodney, a junior from Detroit, Michigan, and there's Eric Anderson, the top tackler for the Wolverines the past 2 years. Coaches at Michigan feel he's the best inside linebacker in the Big Ten. Was a fullback 3 years ago at Michigan. And was moved over to defense. Scored 30 touchdowns his senior year in high school, but they said defense is where you're playing here. 3rd and 2. And right up the middle they go with Culver. And I believe he has the first down. He does indeed for the Irish. Notre Dame Stadium in its 60th year.
Quarterbacks coach Pete Cardelli says Meyer is potentially as good as any quarterback they have ever had here at Notre Dame. That is a strong statement. You know, his dad was a high school coach just down the road, and it shows. He's well schooled, fundamentally sound, mechanically solid.
Now rolling out and well short of Ismail at midfield. It's pretty interesting, though, the story that John Dockery had earlier about Joe Montana. Sent him an autographed picture, and the inscription read, "Please take care of the jersey." You know, Montana number 3 here when he played for Notre Dame.
Just looks so young, doesn't he, when we were sitting there talking with him? He is young.
He really is. It looks like he's been shaving all of 2 weeks, maybe.
First showed his talents to the masses when he was 8 years old, competed in the national pass, punt, and kick competition.
Second down 10. He'll roll right side again. Now we'll tuck it under. And he challenges the defender, Martin Davis, after a gain of about 3. This is one guy they cannot afford to get injured at Notre Dame, because behind him, 3 true freshmen. Timmy, watch him here take on the outside linebacker from Michigan, Martin Davis.
Watch the block he gets from Culver, too. Culver cut down the contained man, and then Davis came up and made the stop. He's a tough kid, isn't he?
He really is.
He's 212 pounds.
Otis Williams comes in as the extra defensive back on 3rd and 7. Pass to Derek Brown. Bobbles it, grabs it, and comes up short of the first. Trip Welburn tackled him short of the first at the 37-yard line. Derek Brown, junior from Merritt Island, Florida, has not had the opportunity to catch the football. Just has not had the passes thrown his way the last 2 years.
Jim, if that ball had been thrown better, though, he had plenty of room. It just wasn't drilled when it was supposed to be there.
First punt of the night for Notre Dame, and Craig Hendrick. Wow, spiral boot that comes to Welburn at the 13. Flag is down at the 20-yard line, and the return to the 28.
It's going to be a clip against Michigan.
A 51-yard punt by Hendrick. 16 yards on the return. It will be now wiped out with the penalty.
You know, in college football, Jim, the quarterback can use the ball that he likes. So Meyer is using the ball that he's practiced with all week. He likes an old ball, a softball. So what the kickers say is that's great, because a softball, I can blast it. It's not a hard ball. It doesn't just explode off the foot like a softball. You get your foot into it more. So the kickers were saying it's added at least 7 yards to their punts with this old ball. They love Meyer for that.
Yeah, I think Craig Hendrick will be giving him a thank you after that 51-yard punt.
Hendrick's the guy that said it's added 7, 10, sometimes 15 yards to his punting.
11:36 left in the second quarter. A timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
Jim Nance, Tim Brent, John Dockery here, and Michigan trailing 14-3. Tradition abounds, as you know, at Notre Dame, and one of the strongest and the oldest is a painting of the helmets the night before. The fine mist sprinkled with flecks of gold, so the story goes, making the helmet miniatures, domes. And Michigan has their distinctive helmets, along with a lone reminder of who their rival is on this cool September night.
Michigan.
I wonder how they got it in the locker room, Jim.
Hey, Doc, Michigan didn't paint theirs, though.
That's right.
Michigan will start this drive from its 12-yard line. Needing to get something going, trailing 14-3. Early portion of the second quarter. 1st and 10. George Marshall has replaced Chris Zorich at nose tackle. Sean Vaughn on the run. Oh, spins around. Nice move out to the 19. Quarterback told us that John Vaughn is our key back this year. Just needs more snaps, more repetitions. That experience. He has 53 yards rushing in this first half.
That guy right there was concerned about his running backs, though. None of the running backs really stepped forward and took the leadership. Was concerned about going with a sophomore. Jefferson had his problems, and Ricky Powers, a third guy, is a freshman.
2nd down 3. Zorich returns at nose. 1st down, Vaughn to the 37-yard line. Boy, he looks good. Tom Goring helped spring him free, and a game of 19 on the play. This offensive line for Michigan, all the starters returned this year. They felt this was one place on the field they had an advantage against Notre Dame.
Watch Zorich right here, though. Offensive line's firing out, and they get Zorich going the wrong way. See, he goes left, everything goes left. Here comes Vaughn now. He'll cut it back. Had he brought it all the way out here and gone around number 1 Alexander to the outside, he could have used that 4.3 speed and got more yardage out of it.
1st and 10, swinging it over to Howard. Sidesteps a defender and gets to midfield. Tackled by Rod Smith. A gain of 12.
Desmond Howard. Rod Smith made the tackle.
And the Wolverines continue to operate without a huddle. They have been in Notre Dame territory one time and got a 38-yard field goal from J.D. Carlson.
Jim, they're averaging almost 7 yards per carry running the football.
Take that all season long. Vaughn again. Gain of 5. Chris Zorich on the tackle. Maybe this helps explain why they're picking up that yardage. Look at the size of that offensive line.
Tell you a great story, too. See Skripnik down here near the bottom, the right tackle, 322 pounds. He's lost 50 pounds. They had to weigh him in a meat factory. They put him on a meat scale to find out what his weight was. Actually, it was a school cafeteria.
Either way, that's got to be a little demoralizing, huh?
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
2nd down and 5. Gerback. Sideline route, hits his man, Alexander, and it's a 1st down for the Wolverines. We have a nice pace now on this drive. You know they expect a lot from Derek Alexander when you look at his uniform number 1. That means at Michigan, you are a big play man. You are a deep threat. Just look at Anthony Carter.
I was just going to say, he looked like Anthony Carter the way he tiptoed inside the line after he made that catch to stay in bounds.
And let's not forget Greg McMurtry. 1st and 10. This is Jefferson. A flag is down on the field. So he moves the ball forward to the Notre Dame 32-yard line. Stonebreaker in on the tackle.
There's a flag on the play. Stonebreaker made the tackle. Offside, Notre Dame.
Again, Notre Dame offsides.
Michigan's offensive line is strong on technique. We've seen lead blocks already, block down and kickouts, one-on-one base blocking. 2 key blocks on that last run by Doring and McGee. McGee being the tight end on that side.
And we were talking about Gary Moeller having been the head coach at Illinois, was not a successful stint there, won only 6 games in 3 years. His opener as the Fightin' Illini coach back in 1977 was against Michigan. He had to go against the Wolverines, and he lost. He lost against Bo. Lou Holtz, for that matter, his first game as the Irish head coach was against the Wolverines, and he too lost to Michigan. 1st and 5. Backs are split behind Gerback. Sets up the screen to Bunch. And I think Andre Jones had a hunch they were going to go to the screen.
What a great read by Andre Jones. He has never looked off. He's coming right now. Read screen. Andre Jones, number 7, comes up strongly. Blows right by the blocks. They didn't even have a chance. Everett, number 51, the center, didn't have a chance to even set his block.
The new fullback in, Andre Jones, the senior, out of DeMatha High School, Hyattsville, Maryland.
Speaks 4 languages fluently. Very intelligent man.
Second down. Gerback going for it all. And Alexander was roaming free as the defender fell down. Greg Davis. And I think while Davis was falling down, he held up Alexander for just a moment.
Moeller came running out on the field. Now watch this. Alexander working against Todd Light, the best cornerback, they say, in football. Gave him a good juke move. There goes Light down and tried to grab his leg. Now Moeller said that impeded his running ability. Couldn't get up, couldn't run under the football. Took him out of rhythm, out of stride.
Third down, 10. They go right back that way, challenging Todd Light. Incomplete. Intended for Howard and nearly intercepted by Todd Light.
Now you don't play defensive corner much better than this. They're pressing. They've already rolled it up. Now watch Light, number 1. He's going to stay on his hip pocket, just playing inside out, and now he's reading the football. He's the guy with the position. Goes up, reaches it at its highest point, and almost had the INT. That should have been a pick. He almost had it. I say pick, I mean picked off.
Yes, he should have had it. Lou Holtz says he's the most talented defensive back he's ever been around. And some scouts, you know how they're always speculating, even this early. Say Todd Light could be the first player taken in the draft next year. I know that's way ahead of ourselves, but he's that talented.
Lou Holtz recruited him with the promise that he would be Tim Brown's replacement at flanker.
As Kona will punt on 4th down.
Again, a delay game.
Well, not a bad move. Try to draw the Irish off, perhaps take the 5 yards, which would have moved him in field goal territory.
That's 3 penalties now, Jim. Excuse me, 21 yards, and that's going to drive that man nuts.
But I think he's still fuming about the no call on the pass to Alexander where Todd Light fell down. And there was a little bumping going on. The Rocket is back there, standing at the 10-yard line. Eric Troopy will snap it back to Ascona. Oh, it's a good punt. Maybe too good. Yes, midway in zone. Touchback. Notre Dame will take it at the 20. We're nearing the midway point of the second quarter. 14-3 Notre Dame. We'll bring you back. Nighttime in South Bend. Lou Holtz, the embattled coach of the Fighting Irish, has seen his program under severe scrutiny, especially since a Sports Illustrated article a couple of weeks ago. Here's what the players had to say.
The media takes shots at us, you know, through different aspects. But we, you know, try not to worry about that. We just try to stay focused.
Coach Holtz isn't letting that phase us. That's really not what we're concerned with. We have to play a game, and that's our biggest objective right now. And he took those comments as insults, I guess, on himself, and he said, "You don't worry about it. You just play, and we'll be fine."
You kind of get used to it. You don't want to get used to it, but it's something that you come to expect, and just take it as a common occurrence now.
The article, alleged steroid use at Notre Dame, and we visited with Lou Holtz yesterday, and he is a man deeply hurt by this accusation. He feels it's a flat-out lie and to not have a chance to present his side of the story. The Irish obviously not affected by that story at this point. 14-3 as far as emotionally being ready. And on the reverse, the Rocket spinning free to the 34-yard line. Tackled by T.J. Osmond, a gain of 14. Timmy, what do you make of this story?
I'll tell you right after this, here's Rocket on the reverse. Let me say this, both coaches carried burdens through the preseason. And now with the game start, I think they feel those pressures somewhat alleviated. Lou Holtz with the preseason drug allegations by the former player. Barry Switzer's recruiting assertion, speculation as to Lou's future. Gary Moeller, of course, replacing Bo Schembechler, speaks volumes. And I think wins by both clubs through the season will fade focus on all those issues.
1st and 10. Ricky Waters on the carry and just a 1-yard gain. I will say this. The NCAA now, effective this academic school year, 90-91, gets involved now in random steroid testing around the college athletic scene. But in the past, it was left to the schools. Only 60% of Division 1A schools in the nation last year had a drug testing program. And only 1/2 of that 60% or 30% of the nation tested for steroids because it's extremely expensive. Notre Dame did indeed test, and they presented their results after that story. Only 5 ever tested positive in 5 years. Pass is batted down. Myers' pass knocked down by Brian Townsend. I want to just say as a footnote, it was 5 out of 490 tested. So 1% is all that came back.
And those tests were not done by the athletic department. They were done by the medical staff, the infirmary here at Notre Dame.
Back to football. How about this play by Brian Townsend? Just batted it down as Meyer was trying to go into the flat to the right side. Townsend alternating out there with Martin Davis, and those two have held up the outside position well. 3rd down and 9 for Notre Dame. Meyer quickly across the middle, and Ricky Waters almost made another beautiful catch. He had 1 in the 1st quarter. The Irish will have to punt, but right now, before they do, let's send you back to Andrea Joyce in New York.
Well, Jim, it's a real pennant race in the NL East. Bottom of the 7th, the Spike Owen single knocks in 2 runs for the Expos. Pittsburgh has now lost 4 in a row, and the Pirates are clinging to a half-game lead over the Mets in the East. Now, let's go back to Jim Nantz.
Winning the 2 this week at Shea Stadium against the Mets, winning the 2 against the Pirates at Shea this week. That really got it going. Hendrick didn't catch the punt. Welburn at the 20 on the return. Did a little hesitation move to help free him. He's near midfield and bumped out of bounds by the punter Hendrick. Very coy by Tripp Welburn. He acted as though he had indicated for a fair catch just by his body actions after catching the punt. Just hesitated.
4 don'ts to the kicking game. Don't be offsides. Don't rough the kicker. Don't let the ball hit the ground and don't clip. The ball hit the ground, and because this guy is an All-American safety, had the know-it-all to come up, catch it on the high hop. Now, I want you to watch the wall that's set up on the right. Look at the wall. It's a middle return. He takes it up and then cuts outside. But that play was made by the middle return, the wall that was set by the special teamers.
38-yard return, and Michigan is set up in Notre Dame territory. They went up to Ann Arbor and checked out that massive structure and came back and built one just like it, but on a smaller scale. 59,000 seated here, and of course always sold out.
And I can tell you the real estate market on this house hadn't gone soft.
Unlike the Northeast. 1st and 10 for Michigan after the return by Welburn. Starting at the Notre Dame 42-yard line. Vaughn cuts to the right side. Kowalkowski will wrestle him down. Tomorrow, doubleheader day on CBS. The NFL today gets it started. Talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears, where they'll be training. And the Bears then will play Green Bay. Great old rivalry around the league. Redskins and 49ers the main 2nd game, but many will see the Giants, Cowboys as well, or the Saints Vikings game. That's doubleheader action tomorrow here on CBS. 2nd down 4 for the Wolverines. Gerback fakes into the line. And the pass is caught. I had to hesitate because Vaughn wasn't so sure himself. George Poorman hit him hard from behind.
This was the best field position starting a drive that Michigan's had all night. Now Vaughn is over 80 yards rushing. Let me make this point. Despite a line averaging 298 last year and a backfield full of talent, They managed only 94 yards rushing against Notre Dame in that game last year. They already have that in this game, so they are effective running the football. This is a big play. They have not been able to convert on third downs, though.
Look at this wishbone formation on 3rd and 2. Jefferson, Vaughn, and Bunch in the backfield. Oh, and they mixed it up. Little mix-up. They confused themselves, but they recovered at the 35. Gerback fell right on it.
And lost a yard.
4th and 3 from the 35.
Watch the up back runs right into the quarterback. This is the kind of thing that has stymied every major drive Michigan has had tonight. Here he comes. Watch the up back runs right in there and stymies the play right in the middle. You can't have that. If that's the fake man on the dive, you got to get it in and out and move.
4th and 3, they're going for it. Bypassing a 52-yard field goal attempt. Gerback will throw for it. Bunch has it, and he steps out of bounds. Oh, I'll tell you, that's right on the marker.
Boy, I don't know about that mark.
I thought he was another yard ahead.
That's the old right foot, left foot mark. If they put it on the left foot, he might have it. If they put it down on his right foot, I don't think he does.
Gary Moeller, his temper flaring a bit. You know, he told us, because you know how Bo could be so explosive at times. He said, it takes me a little longer to lose my temper, but I stay mad longer.
Didn't take him long tonight.
That means he's going to stay mad all night then, I guess.
He told us, Jim, he feels Michigan needs 21 to 24 points to beat Notre Dame. And here in the first half, they've only gotten 3.
Oh, look at this.
That's tough to tell in that angle. So close to putting in a card to see if they made it. They put an index card in there to see if there was any room between the chains and the football.
An index card short. And Moeller would like to know about that spot. Notre Dame will take over.
I'll guarantee you he didn't expect any breaks when he came in here tonight, and he certainly hadn't gotten any.
He said, I can't believe it. The incredulous coach of the Wolverines, trailing 14-3 inside of 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 for the Irish. Waters the lone back. Waters fumbles the football. The recovery by Michigan.
That is the first Notre Dame turnover in 2 years against Michigan. The young quarterback, Meyer. Again, it's Waters with a straight handoff, and he just never had the football. The same type of situation that Michigan suffered earlier. Here's the snap. He's got that fine, but now he's got to put it right on the 12, and it's Waters who has problems with it. That had nothing to do with the young quarterback. That's Waters' mistake.
You know what happened? Waters, as he was taking the handoff, looked up and saw Eric Anderson right in his path. Took his eyes off the football. Osmond recovered, and Michigan has it right back at the 34-yard line of Notre Dame.
Anderson will have that effect on you. He's their leading tackler for Michigan.
Notre Dame took the turnover and scored a touchdown off of it. Now can the Wolverines do the same? They're setting up a reverse. And look at this. Howard dropped for a big loss. Leggett handed it off to Howard. Leggett already had a defender draped all over him, and it's a loss of 9.
You talk about a big league play. Watch this. Williams coming across. Now, he sat out last year. He had some problems. No block on him. It's a lookout block. Just comes through, makes the tackle there, but he's so big, 295 pounds, just bowled over the reverse man.
2nd and 19. Play action fake. Gerback going for it all to Howard. Touchdown, Michigan. Elvis Gerback fires Michigan right back into this game. A touchdown pass to his old high school teammate, Desmond Howard. The duo out of St. Joseph's High School in the Cleveland area. Carlson on the attempt. Solomon will hold. And it's good. 3:56 to go before the intermission. 14-10 Notre Dame.
Watch the top of your screen. He ran a post pattern. Derek Alexander, number 1, you'll see him come clear on the screen. He was wide open across the middle, see him? But instead they went to Desmond Howard. He calls himself Magic Man, says when he gets the ball, magic happens. Gerback told us last week when we were up in Ann Arbor, said he was my tailback when we played high school ball together, and there's a feel there. We just have a great chemistry. I know what he's going to do at all times. He just cleared on the post. The ball was waiting for him when he got to the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. Back in this.
George Poorman, the safety, number 27, got turned around. And touchdown to Howard. The Michigan coaches told us, do not be deceived. Yes, we lost Callaway and McMurtry, but we do have big play abilities out of our young receivers.
Just got caught in a zone. He split the seam between them. Notre Dame showed what they call a cover 5. It looks like a 2-deep zone. They kept 4 defensive backs in the ball game, however, and they just stayed in the zone. He came through the seam between the safety.
Interesting, the Rocket is not back deep to receive the kick. It's Rodney Culver. And Culver takes it at the 6. Down at the 22-yard line. It's now time to present this week's Toyota Leadership Award to the team players who have been singled out by their school's coaching and faculty staff for outstanding performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. And today's game team leadership winners, John Milligan from the University of Michigan. And from Notre Dame, Rick Meyer, very active in his community, working with the police department back in Goshen. Good to have Toyota back with us on the Leadership Award. And 1st and 10, Brooks on the carry, tackled at the 26-yard line by Anderson. Mentioned it earlier, Tony Brooks, George Williams, Michael Stonebreaker, the 3 of them returning for the Irish after missing last season.
Well, those 3 players have faced adversity. They violated rules or suffered academic problems, the scrutiny that comes with it, victims of the stern value system that is Notre Dame. But all 3 now say they've conformed, redirected, they're back mentally prepared to help this club and do well academically. 2nd and 7, rolling left. Meyer will throw on the run, has his man, Adrian Gerald. First down, Notre Dame at the 35-yard line. Tackled by Otis Williams.
The Flyers pass complete to Adrian Gerald.
What I thought was amusing was Tony Brooks. He said he learned the hard way to listen to Coach Holtz. He says, you know, he told a couple of teammates this, in fact, in a speech before the team. There are companies, corporations around the country who pay Coach Holtz thousands of dollars a pop to come hear him speak. We get to listen to him for free every day. Culver on the run on 1st down. Tackled at the 38 by Welburn. How about the University of Florida? Steve Melnick, our golf commentator, told us the Gators this year were going to be extremely tough, and they've opened up with 2 impressive victories, smashing Oklahoma State last week and then handing Alabama its 2nd loss in 2 games today.
As soon as Steve Spurrier took that job, I knew Florida was going to be tough. Certainly one of the young up-and-coming coaches in college football.
Melnick and Spurrier were roommates at the University of Florida. Screen pass to Culver. Spins around. Osmond has him at the 40. It'll set up about 3rd and 4, and 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Since Michigan scored that touchdown, you can just see a different attitude in this team, and that's exactly what defense is. It's attitude. Hunt and confront, and that's what Michigan's doing now. Fly into the football. This is a big 3rd down play, but they set up the screen that time, and everybody ran to the football. There was great pursuit. There was containment on the outside, and the corner filled effectively.
The receivers come to the right side. Smith, Gerald, and Brooks. They throw it to Smith, who's hit right as he catches it and is stopped shy of the first by Otis Williams. Let's go down to the Dockster now on the sidelines. John?
Hey, Jim, if you're like me, you've been wondering where the Rocket is. Well, I just checked the whole sidelines. He's nowhere on the sidelines. A couple of trainers took him to the locker room a couple of minutes ago, and there's no word on exactly what the problem is, although there's rumor that he may have gotten popped in the ribs. I'll follow up on that and keep you posted.
All right. The punt now. Hendrick under a minute to go in the second quarter. This will bounce around. Welburn lets it go, and look at this, inside the 10-yard line and down at the 5.
You know what we talked about earlier? The 4 don'ts of the kicking game. Don't let the ball hit the ground. That's the consequence right there. 53-yard punt, and now Michigan is backed up just outside their own 5.
Next Saturday on CBS, we have baseball coming your way starting at noon Eastern. The Cardinals and Pirates. Many will see that. Others will watch the Red Sox in a battle of their own in the AL East. They'll play the Yankees, and that'll be followed by regional coverage. Most of the nation will see San Diego State BYU. We'll be at that one, Timmy. Others will watch Alabama versus Georgia.
Watching Ty Detmer in that game 2 weeks ago, I thought it was one of the best performances by a young quarterback that I had seen under that kind of pressure, under that kind of scrutiny, performing for the Heisman against another candidate. But today he comes back and throws 5 touchdown passes and brings them from behind.
Had to do it too. That team was lifeless in the first half, down 22. Bunch on the carry inside. Michigan's not going to try anything fancy here before the half. And of course, coming up at halftime is we see a Notre Dame timeout signal.
Devo, hey, Stoney, come here.
That's Gary Darnell, the new defensive coordinator. His philosophy is rooted in the South. He believes in disruption, hunt, and confront mentality.
Come on!
Notre Dame leading over Michigan 14-10. It was 14-3 at the end of the first quarter. Notre Dame took a timeout here. They have 2 remaining in the half. 2nd and 6 for the Wolverines. Vaughn. First down, Michigan. Out past the 20 to the 24-yard line, tackled by George Williams. A gain of 15.
Tackle made by George Williams.
Now another timeout signal from the officials. And we can tell you the report from the Notre Dame locker room is in. The Rocket has a bruised sternum, and we do not know how serious or whether he'll be back tonight. We'll follow through on that story. That was a Michigan timeout called. 2 remaining for the Wolverines.
I can tell you what that means, though, to this ball game. A lot of people compare Rocket's presence in this offense to that of Timmy Brown's. Now, the only way Timmy Brown wouldn't get the ball when he was here is if the defense intercepted the snap. I mean, he was going to be involved in every play. Yes. They moved him around. But Rocket has more talent surrounding him, so they try to keep him in the ball game and mix things up. But the defense still is giving him more attention than anybody else. As a matter of fact, they've got a spy on him most of the time. So if he's out of the ball game, Michigan can now just free up, put that other guy back in the regular flow of the defense and concentrate more on just defensive football.
You know where that injury happened, I'm sure, was on that reverse run by the Rocket earlier in this quarter where he picked up 12 yards. I would think that would be the play. Florida State joining the ACC this week. And tonight, jolting Georgia Southern 48-6. How about Florida State in the ACC?
I think ACC Commissioner Gene Corrigan deserves a lot of credit for getting them in there. It's mutually beneficial. It'll help Florida State in basketball. It'll help the ACC in football.
They also firmed up a deal this week, the Seminoles and the Irish, for a home-and-home series in '93 and '94. 1st and 10. They'll still run it. Bunch has it. And a gain of 9.
I hope we're doing that game.
Well, we won't be doing the game at South Bend. The other game,
that's a fact.
Yes, that one's a fact. The other game of that series will be played in Orlando, not in Tallahassee, in Orlando.
There will be a measurement.
13 seconds left in the first half and a measurement.
They've pushed this ball out fairly nicely from the 5-yard line where they started. This is a first down. But only 13 seconds remain. You just don't want to make a mistake here. They already turned the ball over earlier in the game. It hurt them. It led to a Notre Dame touchdown. You don't want to make a mistake here.
He sends Alexander to the right, Howard to the left. Showing an I formation. Alexander is out there. So is Todd Light, however. He bats it down and the half ends. That's the end of the first half with the score. Notre Dame 14, Michigan 10. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of tonight's CFA game is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Northwest Airlines, helping people do business in Asia for over 40 years. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Welcome back to Notre Dame. It's the Irish leading the Wolverines 14-10. And just before the half, you may recall that Rocket Ismail was hurt on a reverse play. And the diagnosis from the locker room, I talked to the doctor and the trainer, is that he has bruised ribs. It happened when he ran a reverse, and we'll see it coming up right now. Take a look at the Rocket lower part of your screen. He will take the reverse here, and it actually doesn't happen, at least this is what the trainers told me, when he gets hit, but rather when he falls on the ball at the end of this plate. Watch Osmond, number 94, come in and lay a good lick on him right there, and then he goes down and the ball gets jammed against his ribs. But they said that the Rocket is not seriously hurt. They took x-rays. He has gone out in the field, and the decision is his. If he can play with the pain, and it is a painful injury, then the Rocket will contribute the rest of the night, and I believe he's out in the field. Back to you, Jim.
Doc, he does have a rib pad on. It looks like he's wearing a chest protector now, so he is back out on the field. But can you see it, Jim? It looks like he's padded pretty heavily.
Yes. So he will not be running the Rocket to his full velocity, but he will come back and return the second half kickoff. Remember, a year ago, he ran the second half kickoff back for a touchdown, and then later in the second half had another one.
As a freshman, he led the nation in kickoff returns. Last season, you mentioned those two big ones. There's nobody more dangerous at this aspect on special teams than the Rocket.
J.D. Carlson to start the second half.
Kicked away from him.
Yes, he did this time. It's coming to Jeff Burris, freshman. And out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. And I mentioned that because number 9, Burris, is wearing Tony Rice's old number. How about the halftime statistics here? Michigan on the big pass play for a touchdown, leading in that yardage mark. Rushing per play, Michigan with a better average.
0 for 5 for Michigan third down conversions. Haven't been able to get the big one. How about Meyer now? He's 6 for 9 passing, and he's had 1 completion to 6 different guys.
Out throwing. Meyer's pass to start the second half is caught by Tony Smith, junior from Gary, Indiana. I mentioned Tony Rice a moment ago. Tony is playing in Canada for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He is their third-team quarterback and will dress for his first game this season tomorrow night, because there's a new league rule up there which says you have to dress 3 quarterbacks. Otherwise, he'd be in street clothes again. It's been a rough ride, I guess you could say. Rodney Culver on 2nd and short has the first down.
He is not the first quarterback from Notre Dame, I may add, has gone to Canada. And that Joe Theismann did that. Joe Theismann, Clements. Theismann went up, played up there, and eventually was property of Miami. They traded him to Washington and had that brilliant career.
First down, Notre Dame to start off. Little pass completion, a carry by Culver. Leading 14-10. They send the 3 receivers left. Brooks, Ismail, and Smith. 1st and 10. Culver. Near midfield, tackled by Brian Townsend.
Gain of 5. John Milligan on the tackle.
Goodyear Blimp America tonight with us at Notre Dame Stadium. 30th year that the Goodyear Blimp has televised college football. It all started, in fact, at the Orange Bowl, 1960. Our Frank Trukinian, longtime director, brought in the blimp for that game, and it's been a regular at sporting events ever since. 2nd down 5. Inside give this time. Culver, only a yard. Runs into that wall of Wolverines. Ismail is in the game. Not only did he get in there for the kick return team, but he's staying for this series of downs for Notre Dame. Rodney Culver had a difficult role here, filling in for Anthony Johnson, who was so underrated as the fullback at Notre Dame. Now playing for the Colts, Anthony Johnson, but Culver, good game tonight. Brooks in the flat, and the pass was behind him. So 4th down, the Irish will be punting.
You know what's interesting about that series? Michigan that time took their Wolfman, their strong safety, Trip Wellborn, instead of just staying at strong safety in that spot, cocking him at the hash or moving him up, they had him shadow Rocket. He almost played corner the last time when Rocket went over there. He's playing man-to-man on this man.
New punter in here. This is Jimmy Sexton. He was the punter in '88 when they won the national championship. Now he's in there tonight. Handles the low snap. Wellborn inside the 10, fields it, and drops to a knee at the 15. Lance Johnson on the tackle. Number 59.
Jim, the reason they make that switch with the punter is because anytime they're inside the 50, they'll go to Sexton. He's their pooch punter. They tried to get it to the side inside the 10.
0 for the career so far, playing against the Irish. Greg Skrepenik, an offensive lineman, had comments about his play last year.
Personally, I feel like I laid an egg in the game. Bo came up to me after the game a little bit and said, you know, I think you were trying too hard. Which he might have been right, because you know, I was so intense that game. I wanted to just kill everyone I went against. And you could see in the films that I spent more time on my face that game than I did blocking anybody. Right after that game, I was depressed and not, you know, not in the greatest of moods, and I wanted to play Notre Dame right then and there again. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and I had to wait another year.
This is the guy that, Tim, you mentioned earlier, 322 pounds, and he's lost 50. He says football is controlled aggression.
When Michigan came back for summer ball, Moeller says, hey, we've got our own Rocket. His name's Skrepenik, lean, mean Wolverine, 322 pounds.
He's from the Rockets' hometown. Played against him. Their high schools played one another in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. 1st down, Gerback on target to Howard. Gerback's pass to the 36-yard line in a game of 21 on the play.
Hit made by John Smith.
2nd half philosophy has not changed. No huddle.
Watch the pass blocking up front on this. Again, they are strong on technique. They set, they extend their arms. The arms can be used. They have to stay within the body below the shoulders, and they do that very well.
1st and 10 from the 36. Screen left side to Vaughn. Vaughn breaking some tackles and near the 1st down yardage at the 46, a gain of 10.
Gain of 11 and a 1st down.
Vaughn played defense until last year. He was an All-American defensive back in high school, and they switched him over, and he's been extremely strong. They needed help in that position, obviously, with the injuries and graduation, and he's filled in admirably.
Van Dyne to the left, Alexander to the right. 1st down for Michigan. Play action fake. Flag is down. It's Van Dyne at midfield on the reception. Twisted down by Stonebreaker.
This might be our guy, Holding.
Holding. Offense.
Skrepnik was in the area. Also, Jared Bunch was back there too. They were trying to protect their quarterback in the backfield. I'll tell you one thing about Michigan, Jim. They're mixing their plays extremely well. Gary Moeller told us this Michigan team was not going to be as conservative perhaps as it has been in the past. Right now 16 passes and 20 runs, so it's almost 50-50.
People don't realize that last year Michigan threw the ball 250 times in the season, an average of 20 passes per game. It's very un-Schembechler-like. And they had the leading passer in the Big Ten with Michael Taylor. Michigan State and Syracuse ended in a tie at 23. The Rockets' brother, Kadri, plays for the Orangemen. 1st and 20 after the holding penalty against the Wolverines. Fake into the line. Gerback sideline route to Howard. Howard with a gain of 19 to the 45 of Notre Dame. You can see the confidence mounting now for Elvis Gerback.
Just watch how composed he is. He's a quiet, studious type, tries to rationalize every situation, approaches the game very cerebrally, just sits in there despite the blitz, and just pops it out to the outside with a lot of velocity.
2nd down 1. Breaks free to the 39-yard line. 1st down for the Wolverines. 10:34 left in the 3rd quarter, and it's 14-10 Notre Dame.
Did you see Gerback that time? He handed off to the dive man, then carried out the fake like it was an option. He just kind of nonchalantly came around the corner, and all of a sudden Bunch was right next to him, still running.
Well, he described himself as laid back off the field, but very focused on the field. Tall, rangy guy for a quarterback. 1st and 10, Michigan. Again, it's Bunch. And another nice game, just plowing forward to the Notre Dame 31-yard line. Sean Smith on the tackle.
Michigan is really starting to strap it on now. They're playing very physically. The offensive line is finally starting to exert itself. Finally, they've been doing it the whole game. The running game has been very strong for Michigan.
2nd down 2. Rushing yards very even, but per carry, the Wolverines have the advantage tonight. Yardage per carry. 2nd and short. Picking up a yard. Vaughn, tackled by Don Grimm. Well, the biggest question for Gary Moeller coming into this game tonight was his inexperience with the people that handle the football. And I think they passed the test easily so far. 3rd down 1.
This is where they've had problems.
Vaughn has the 1st down as he races down the sidelines inside the 20. Bunch with a good block in front for Vaughn, who now is over 100 yards with this carry. 14 rushes, 106 yards for John Vaughn.
Look at everybody lying down, though, on the defense along. They've all been cut or blocked or pancaked down on the sidelines. This offensive line, we mentioned, great lead blockers, block down and kick-outs, one-on-one base blockers.
1st and 10 from the 19. Vaughn up the middle, hurtling forward to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal.
Watch the fullback right here. Fullback's right here, tailback, they're just going to bring him up the middle. Now it's just power football. See the trap play right here on the right side? Outstanding blocks on the linebackers. He just takes it up and over.
First and goal. Wishbone formation. They'll throw out of it. Gerback incomplete. Went to Alexander. Todd Light on the coverage. Michigan was given 5,000 tickets for this game, and the bulk of the students who made the 3-hour journey from Ann Arbor are in the top portion of your screen, right huddled together in that end zone, hoping to cheer on the Wolverines to a go-ahead touchdown. Inside, Jefferson. No signal. Offensive line for the Wolverines. Thought he was across. Rod Smith and Andre Jones on the tackle, but just shy of the goal line. Defensive coordinator Gary Darnell, who was an interim coach last year in Florida, takes over for Barry Alvarez, instructing his team 3rd and goal for the Wolverines. Flag is down as Andre Jones was trying to sneak off the field.
They had 12 men on the field.
Hey, Andre. Hey, Andre. Andre. The player left the field
at the
to
back
the
line.
end zone against Notre Dame. It's half the distance to the goal line.
Told you that Andre was trying to sneak into the student body. Kind of hard when you're 6'3", 210 pounds.
They were all wacky. That time they had 12 guys on the field, and then he went up in the stands to watch here.
It only gives Michigan maybe an index card closer to the goal line. It is 3rd down. Jefferson. Michigan takes the lead. Play drive covering 85 yards. First Michigan possession of the second half. Carlson on the extra point. The conversion is good. Flag is down, however. There is a flag down on the PAT.
Michigan set this play up with a cross bucket counter in the middle. Notre Dame bunched inside, and you can see they went back to the outside. It was Devin McDonald, number 45, who loses containment on the outside. He gets caught inside. Now watch. Here comes the play, and the contained man, 45, gets caught. Great block by Tony McGee, number 88, the tight end. Held him inside, couldn't let him out. No containment out there. And Jefferson just scored on the corner.
The infraction is against Notre Dame. It will be assessed on the kickoff. It is 17-14 Michigan.
One thing playing outside, if you're the contained man, you got to keep your outside free. You can't get caught inside. You got to contain, and he did not do it.
Notre Dame has won 17 straight at home, but they're trailing midway 3rd.
Welcome back to a packed house here at Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish trailing for the first time, 17-14. Just to update you on Rocket Ismail. I talked to some of the trainers. He is not wearing any extra padding. Originally, he had a little bit on there, but I watched him during the timeout. He's out there on the kickoff. He seemed fine. He said to all his teammates, hey, I'm fine. I'm going to play. And he's out there to return the kickoff right now. Jim?
Well, it's interesting to note that Michigan will kick from right at midfield at the 50. It was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Notre Dame on the point after try. It's now assessed on the kickoff, and the Wolverines have a lot of options from this point.
Breath of fresh air. Now we're going to come back. You got the offense right now. But we still will throw that ball. And got it. Texans in court. You staying fresh?
Michigan has come back from a 14-3 deficit to take the lead. Carlson just elects to boot it through the end zone, and Notre Dame will begin from the 20. And we will begin tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw, Leslie Visser and Pat O'Brien. It'll be followed by doubleheader action. The Bears and Green Bay, that great rivalry. Others will see Phoenix, Philadelphia, the Rams, Tampa Bay, and the Falcons against Detroit. Late, the Redskins at the 49ers, Giants, Dallas, and the Saints, Minnesota. Check your local listings.
Tell me Jerry Glanville's not controversial. Called Jack Pardee a jerk, then apologized. He'll be on the NFL Today tomorrow.
There's Brooks on the carry. Did he fumble the football? They're fighting for it. The ball was free. I did not see an indication that he was down.
You should see the bottom of some of these pileups. I mean, hands are flying in there. It's like a wrestling match. Guys are trying to do the Granby roll in there, trying to get the ball away. Look at it. It's like a scrum in rugby. Whoever ends up with the ball by the time the official comes down, there's John Sophie. He says Michigan has it.
Oh, what a big play this is. Tony Brooks fumbles. Mike Evans recovers, and the Wolverines have the football at the 25 of Notre Dame.
Here it is again. Take a look at it. Brooks has it knocked out right there. It was David Key and Otis Williams. Looked like Key's helmet hit the ball. Just stripped it free. And now I'm not so sure that it was Michigan that had it originally. But at the bottom, it doesn't matter. If you can get that ball away from whoever has it by the time the official gets there, you got it. You deserve it.
Mike Evans, a former walk-on, now a starter at defensive tackle, recovers. There he is, number 92. And the Wolverines come right back out. Single back set. It's bunched behind Gerback. Two tight ends, McGee and Diebold. Throwing left side to Howard. Howard gets away from the defender and scampers in for the touchdown.
Did you see Lou? He looked at his team. He said, we'll come back. We'll come back. The master of motivation, trying to keep them in the ball game. Doesn't want the young kids to hang their head. I can see why Howard calls himself Magic.
That's 2 touchdowns tonight. 5 receptions, 121 yards. Extra point is good. A 10-point lead for Michigan. The Magic Man shakes free.
Howard says every time he touches it, magic happens. It's just a quick screen right out to the wide receiver. Look at this, quick pop. Now Howard does the rest of this on his own. This is just poor tackling. There's Rod Smith, missed the tackle. The safety couldn't support. Here comes Greg Davis, 26, but it's too late for him.
For the second time in 5 minutes, Michigan scores a touchdown into the frenzied Michigan student body section. (24-14) Michigan. Short kick to Jeff Burris. He returns it to the 36.
How quickly things change. This is where Notre Dame hadn't turned the ball over against Michigan in 2 years. All of a sudden, here comes Tony Brooks. Watch this now as he gets through the line of scrimmage. Here comes number 26, David Key. There's number 17, Otis Williams. They strip the ball, turnover. Now Michigan comes right back with great field position. Gerback looks out on the quick screen for Desmond Howard. Just a wide receiver pop, set, throws, boom. Now here comes the corner. Misses the tackle. That's Rod Smith. number 21. No support coming from the safety. And Desmond Howard takes it in for the touchdown.
From the 36, Meyer rolling on first down. Firing to the rocket at midfield and out of bounds. Notre Dame took the field on offense with Ricky Waters pumping his fist in the air and waving at the crowd to come on, let's go.
Jim, I can tell you this, Notre Dame knows how to handle pressure. It's gone into 16 of its last 18 games, ranked number 1. Lou Holtz says pressure is when you're not adequately prepared. He says this team is prepared.
First down right at midfield. Out of the eye, they fake to Waters. Pass across the middle, ruled incomplete. John Milligan knocked it away. Derek Brown, the tight end, was the target.
Now listen, Brown came in, okay, but for mission, okay? They have
Second down and 10. Meyer, a rocket, couldn't hold on. Right in his hands, coming across the middle. 1 point should be made now. Lou Holtz said before the game, he stressed to Rick Meyer, you do not have to win this game for us. Just do not fumble any exchanges or handoffs.
Went right through Rocket's hands. You know what they did? They had Trip Welburn on him man for man. He looked inside at the quarterback, and when he did, Rocket made his cut inside and had him beaten. Just couldn't make the catch.
Don't you believe now, though, Holtz has to put a little more pressure on the sophomore quarterback than he had intended coming in?
Absolutely. He's forced to now. Here comes Wilburn on the blitz.
Wilburn got him back at the 42-yard line. Trip Wilburn.
Loss of 7.
No time to set up this time. And Trip Welburn on the blitz, the safety blitz, ends the Notre Dame drive. We have 6:40 left in the third quarter. Michigan with a 10-point lead, about to get the football again. That's Hendrick punting. A liner to Welburn, taking it at the 16, up the middle. Trip Welburn, his second good return of the night. He had one return of 38 yards in the first half. This one measured 22 yards on the return.
Greg Davis on the tackle.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. And for the 20th consecutive year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. From the 38-yard line, split backs, Bunch and Vaughn. Bunch is hit immediately after the exchange. Zorich, Kowalkowski. Zorich exchanging a few pushes with the Wolverines. One thing about Chris, he does not even allow his own teammates to pick him up off the turf after he makes a tackle. He'll brush them away. They know better.
That was a big league play right there, and the new aggressive style of the defensive coordinator Darnell, they let him come free more often, just penetrate like that.
Second down, 12, play action. Gerback has his man. It's Vaughn to the 46-yard line, about 3 yards shy of the first. Stonebreaker and Dubose on the tackle. And let's ask John Dockery, former defensive back for the New York Jets. Does this defense look like it's getting a little tired out there, Notre Dame, Doc?
You know, Jim, I watched them during that whole series when they came off the field before, and Stonebreaker, Dahl, and Zorich and those guys just sat on the bench very quietly. They are tired. The big offensive line from Michigan is taking its toll on them. Back to you, Jim.
3rd and 2. Will the offensive line lead the way for another first down? Yes, they do. Vaughn has the first down and more to the 40 and down at the 39. Tackled aggressively by Greg Davis, but 15 yards for Vaughn.
Just watch the blocks. You're talking about the guys wearing the defense down. Look up front. There's a hole that you could have run through that time. And Vaughn just made use of it. He got in a secondary, and Davis tagged him pretty good.
First and 10 for Michigan from the Notre Dame 39. Bunch is the lone back. Quickly to Howard. That was the scoring play a moment ago. This time, first down picked up. A gain of 11.
Tackled by Rod Smith.
Tackled at the 28-yard line. 6 receptions, 132 yards for Desmond Howard.
How about this? 169 yards passing, 169 yards rushing.
I call that balance
for Michigan. It's impossible to stop a play like that. Just the 2-3 step drop, fire it. Can't get to the quarterback, and he puts a burden on the secondary.
Another first down for the Wolverines. Van Dyne is in to the left. Alexander to the right. Notre Dame showing blitz. They run it with Vaughn, a 2-yard gain, tackled by Bob Dahl.
Bob Dahl on the tackle.
Dodgers shut out Cincinnati. The West is getting tight in the National League. Houston wins in 10. Pittsburgh's 4th loss in a row, and their lead now, the Pirates' lead, is down to a half game as the Mets victorious over Philadelphia. A new tailback in the game, Ricky Powers. He was in on one play in the first half. It was the long touchdown pass to Howard. He returns. He's a freshman from Akron, Ohio. 2nd and 8. Gerback gets away from the rush and throws it away wisely. Scott Kowalkowski coming on, forcing Gerback to throw it away.
Told you that he's a cerebral type quarterback, very intelligent, very poised. That time Jared Bunch broke the play. He went the wrong way. He knows it. He was hanging his head, but he just stopped. Gerback was in trouble. He should have gone back and thrown a block to help Gerback back, but all of a sudden the smart quarterback just threw it away.
It's a 10-point lead for Michigan. 3:30 to go, 3rd quarter. Threatening again at the Notre Dame 26-yard line, 3rd and 8. Vaughn is in the open. Tackled at the 18-yard line, very close to a first, but I believe he's a half-yard short. Zorich came downfield, made the tackle with Don Grimm.
Don Grimm, the brother of Russ Grimm, plays for the Washington Redskins, one of the original Hogs, watching tonight out at San Francisco, getting ready for the 49ers tomorrow.
Well, they're not even going to measure for it, and they're not even going to think about going for it on 4th and less than a yard. They bring out Carlson for a 36-yard field goal attempt. He made his only attempt tonight from 38 yards on the right hash mark. Carlson's kick is wide to the left. He missed only once last year. He was 13 of 14 in the 1989 season, but misses here from 36 yards. So Notre Dame will take over at the 20-yard line. We talked so much about Rick Meyer. He was at this game 2 years ago on a recruiting visit to Notre Dame. At that point, trying to make up his mind, would he play for Michigan or would he play for the Irish? With the rocket in the backfield, he gets the carry and gets stuffed for a big loss. Hutchison and Osmond. I don't know how the ribs feel right now after this one.
He also took the pads off, Doc was telling us. Good feel. You know, he is a throwback. Talking about Rocket, he's not a specialist. He's what I call an anything player. Anything for the team and talented enough to play anything he wants. He's fast. First time we've seen him at tailback tonight.
Culver is the lone back now. 3 receivers for Notre Dame, including the Rocket. 2nd and long. Meyer dancing around. Incomplete. Culver didn't look like he was ready for it.
Does Notre Dame look a little bit rattled to you?
Absolutely. That play, there was great confusion.
Gary Moeller told us that Michigan needs 24 points to beat Notre Dame. They've got 24 points on the board right now.
It's pretty good projection, huh?
still have a quarter to play, but right now the offense looks out of sync, out of rhythm. The defense is playing on its heels, not running to the football very well.
3 receivers to the right. 3rd and 15 for Notre Dame. Meyer. Pass is caught off the deflection. Off the hands of the Rocket and then caught by Lake Dawson. A sensational grab.
Up of 45 yards. Lake Dawson, just a freshman, best pass catcher in practice through the preseason drills. He's got big hands. He says he used to carry silly putty to school with him and just squeeze it all day. This was just attention here. Forget the hands. Great concentration on the tip.
Option pitch to Waters. Waters trying to cut back to the inside, gets to the 33-yard line. I think Lake Dawson is going to have a big career ahead of him at Notre Dame. He'll never forget his first reception for the Irish.
Comes from the Pacific Northwest. Watch this. There's the All-American. Rocket can't hold on. Ball's a little bit behind him, goes through. And there's Lake Dawson. You know, this is called Notre Dame on the lake. They call it Notre Dame du Lac, French. And all the team players at Notre Dame, they call Lake Dawson du Lac because it means in French lake.
2nd down 3. Culver just maybe a half-yard shy of the first down. Tackled by Eric Anderson and David Key. Yes, it'll be 3rd and a yard. They send in Irv Smith as a second tight end to join Derek Brown.
Don't forget that play. Put that in your memory bank because they were rattled a little bit, really out of rhythm, and all of a sudden a missed play turns into a huge play for the Irish.
Absolutely. Inside Culver, first down Notre Dame. A quick burst to the 28-yard line. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. A 10-point lead for Michigan. And again, that was a 3rd and 15 play where they picked up the 44 yards. Their confidence suddenly recharged. Could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Little trickery. It's the Rocket on the reverse. Does not fool Michigan. Tackled by Neil Simpson and David Key. Clock stopped with 1 second to go in the 3rd. It's Lake Dawson about to shuttle in the play from Lou Holtz.
Has an unusual body. I was watching him in practice on Thursday. He's got huge calves and he's got real big, strong, long arms. Looks more like a linebacker.
Ever seen a linebacker with those kind of hands?
Look at those calves.
2nd down play, 2nd and 7. Culver was about to go down and scooted forward for an extra gain of 5 yards. He gets inside of the 20 as we end the 3rd quarter with the score, Michigan 24, Notre Dame 14. Our coverage will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of tonight's CFA game is sponsored by UPS. For guaranteed overnight delivery from coast to coast, UPS runs the tightest ship in the shipping business. United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Thrifty Car Rental, because it's your money.
1 quarter to go, with Michigan leading by 10. And the game summary to this point, 2nd half yards, Michigan well in front. And yes, there has been an Elvis sighting. There had to be 1 punt tonight. Gerback, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. Vaughn, well over 100 yards rushing. 10-point lead, but the Irish digging down deep and driving They begin the fourth quarter facing a challenging 3rd and 1 at the 19-yard line. Culver picks up the first. Down to the 17-yard line.
8 runs, 1 pass in this drive for Notre Dame. They're just trying to force things now conservatively but strongly and methodically and take it down on Michigan. Plenty of time left in the ball game. They just don't want to make mistakes.
First and 10, Irish.
Actually, it'd be a good time to throw now that they've run 8 times.
Well, he sends Tony Smith to the right, Ismail to the left. Brown, the tight end, tucked in on the left side. I formation. Option time. Meyer on the keep. Swallowed up after 2 yards by Neil Simpson and Mike Evans. Let's get a report now from John Dockery. John?
You know, Jim, it's more of a question than a report. I want to know where in the world is number 86, Derek Brown. Think about the situation. You have a guy who's 6'7". You have a young quarterback. You're playing against a team that has playing a lot of zone. The easiest throw in the world is to the big tight end, yet Notre Dame has used him very sparingly tonight. Well, I don't understand it.
I don't either. And same thing last year. He has been undetectable as a weapon, like the stealth bomber. Culver to the 6-yard line. And that's a Notre Dame first down.
I can tell you this about Derek Brown, though. The guy can block, and that's one of the reasons they're running so effectively. Watch him right here, number 86. Watch what he does. Boom, makes contact. Now it's just a stalemate. Holds him up long enough for Culver to come back inside of him and pick up an extra 5 yards. That's a whale of a block by Derek Brown.
And again, Waters looking around to the home crowd and stirring him up, pumping his fist in the air. And that's how this drive started. He came out. He's one of the 4 co-captains for Notre Dame. They were in a lull. They were down 10. That's leadership. First and goal. Here he is, Waters. Driving to the 1-yard line. The entire crowd on its feet as it's 2nd and goal from the 1. Looking down the I formation behind Meyer, Culver and Waters, and Culver goes across for a Notre Dame touchdown. Extra point attempt with 12:59 left in the contest. Hendrick. Three-point game, 24-21, Michigan.
Rodney Culver, low center of gravity, 220 pounds. Watch him here. Watch what he does to number 30 in white. 233-pound captain linebacker put his head right in the chest of Milligan. Took him right into the end zone with him. Touchdown, Irish.
Notre Dame storms 80 yards in 11 plays to cut the lead to 3. Pictures coming your way from the Goodyear blimp, and Captain Larry Chambers has informed us there's a front headed this way. System of showers that could reach the stadium area before the end of this game.
For Michigan.
Howard from the goal line. Not even out to the 20-yard line. Let's tell you about next Saturday's lineup, the Cardinals and the Pirates. Of course, that'll be very important for the National League East. Many will see that game. Others will watch the Red Sox The Red Sox lead is down to 2. That 9th inning homer for Toronto, cutting the lead to 2 for Boston. So you'll see one of those 2 games. And then we'll have college football from Provo, San Diego State against BYU. And others will watch the game from Athens, Georgia, between the hedges, Alabama and the Dogs. First and 10, Michigan from the 18-yard line. Elvis Gerback calls timeout. He looks across the line into the eyes of Chris Zorich. Saw something else that wasn't right. And he says, let's talk about it. That's the first timeout called in the second half by either team. And we'll come back to South Bend in just a moment. Gerback and the Wolverines huddle with the 3-point lead. By the way, we alluded to the Elvis sighting earlier. Let's tell you that he was not named for the sensation out of Tupelo, Mississippi, and of course Memphis, Tennessee. His parents come from Yugoslavia. Elvis, the Gerbacks, and he says Elvis is a very common name in Yugoslavia.
His brother and sister were born in Yugoslavia. He went back 3 summers ago.
First and 10 for the Wolverines. Bunch for maybe 2. Late night at Notre Dame Stadium. The season opener for the nation's #1 ranked team, the Fighting Irish. And it's a 3-point lead for 4th ranked Michigan. 12:25 left in the contest. Second down 8 for Michigan from its own 20. Vaughn with room. Vaughn to the 30, to the 40, and tackled at the 41-yard line. Explosive speed on that one, and a gain of 22 for John Vaughn.
That play means a lot more than just a first down, because Notre Dame was playing with new intensity. Watch how they wall off the right side. There's no contain man there, and Vaughn takes it into the secondary. Again, the outside containment was lost by the linebacker on the outside.
First and 10. Vaughn comes right back, cuts to the right side to gain 9 yards. Vaughn is posting some big-time numbers against the Irish. 167 now on the ground for the sophomore John Vaughn. From Florissant, Missouri. Gary Moeller came into this game looking for a tailback. He said Vaughn and Jefferson were pretty even. Jefferson has scored a touchdown tonight, but Vaughn has led the way on the ground for the Wolverines. Second and 1. Gerback goes long down the sideline. Oh! Howard had a step on his defender.
Great adjustment by Gerback, though. He was looking to the left side. Devin McDonald, number 45, the outside linebacker from Notre Dame, was coming on a stunt. He had that side completely closed off and was going to sack Gerback until he readjusted what he was doing, rolled to the right side, and found his man, Desmond Howard. Gerback now in the second half. 7 for 10, 102 yards, touchdown.
Third and 1. Ball right at midfield. Jefferson is in the game. Bunch gets the call. I believe he's short. That's one thing about the previous play. Gerback had enough running room. He could have easily trotted for the first, but since Howard was open, he went for the long strike and overthrew him.
It's close. They're going to measure it. Depends on the mark again, but the play was made by Chris Zorich, the nose tackle. Got great penetration. Now on a short yardage defense, his chin has to be practically on the ground. He's got to immediately attack Steve Everett, the center, try to get inside him down low and establish a new line of scrimmage a yard deep and let the linebackers fill.
You remember how mad Gary Moeller was in the first half about the one marking he got where they came up short on 4th down?
I sure do.
I think they just returned the favor. I didn't think they gained much more than a half yard. Let's see. They're stretching it out. And do they bring back the index card? No. Yeah, that one will need a leaflet.
That's what I was talking about, though, Jim. Chris Zorich made that play. He stopped them from getting the first down.
How about this? Moeller talks to his quarterback, and with 11 minutes left in the game and the ball right at midfield, Moeller appears to be going for it.
They're 1 of 2 on 4th down conversions tonight.
Vaughn comes in along with the extra tight end.
Huge gamble with 11:09 left in the ball game.
Again, they could be just trying to draw Notre Dame off sides.
They didn't do that the first 2 times.
No, they didn't. Set up in a wishbone. They run a play with Vaughn. First down and more to the 40, to the 30, and down to the 25-yard line.
How about that? You talk about a gamble.
I am telling you, the first huge decision of Gary Moeller's career. And I got to tell you, John Vaughn, I did not see a lot of running room initially, but he found it. He found the hole.
They've been picking on the outside all afternoon. There's 41, Reggie Brooks. He was cut immediately, and Vaughn just again took the outside, cut into the safety before he was finally taken down.
Brooks could have shut down that play, but Vaughn escaped him. 1st and 10. Jefferson now. Jefferson inside the 20 and down to the 11. George Poorman on the tackle. That's a gain of 14 on the play.
Tackle was made by Titus Poorman. Gain of 14. First down at the 11.
This hurry-up offense, Jim, has been very, very effective against Notre Dame tonight.
They've never backed away from it either. They've stayed with this throughout. Jefferson remains in the game on 1st and 10 at the 11. Gerback's pass lofted into the end zone and picked off. Michael Stonebreaker. Gary Moeller says, what are you doing? They are just blowing off Notre Dame at the line of scrimmage and running the ball effectively. And they go to the air here on 1st and 10 at the 11.
Thursday night we had dinner with Stonebreaker. He says in Gary Darnell's new defense, I am more involved in pass coverage. I've got to be more reckless. I've got to drop back into a zone. Look at the top right hand of your screen. Number 42, that's Stonebreaker. Drops back into a hook area, then reads the pass, floats back to it, and makes one-handed interception. He's got 9 tackles tonight, and that pick right there, one INT.
That was an audible, you think, from Gerback?
It was a poor decision, I can tell you that. I don't know if it was an audible. Might have been a check at the line, but it was a poor decision to go to the end zone.
They'll take it out of the 20. 1st and 10, Notre Dame. Tony Brooks spinning around for 8. Todd played on the tackle.
Michael Stonebreaker was in an auto accident, broke his kneecap, dislocated his hip. They didn't know if he'd ever walk again. Faced adversity, lost his license because there was alcohol in the system at the accident. Graduated last semester, now he's in grad school, squared away, got his life going again.
2nd down to Rodney Culver. Past the 30, which is good enough for the first down. Clock is running with 9:20 left in the contest. And Michigan leading 24-21. Gerald to the left, Lake Dawson to the right. And the Rocket is the tailback out of the eye on 1st down. He gets the carry. Here he goes. He explodes free. The Rocket to the 50. Look out. Oh, he is caught. Caught by David Key. But a gain of 35.
Another one of those guys you don't like to analyze his style, you just want to admire it. He's got explosive speed. Once he's through the line of scrimmage and into the secondary, one juke move, and now he's just going to try to outrace the secondary. David Key, I'm not sure how he caught him from behind. He had a pursuit angle. Rocket tried to take it to the sideline, and Key caught him.
I thought that was a 6-pointer. Here he is again. This time just back to the line of scrimmage. I really didn't expect him to get caught on that one.
Excellent speed, phenomenal speed, excellent balance, instinct, and intelligence. Started out at wide receiver tonight. He's been the kick returner. Had one of the most sensational runs you can imagine from the tailback spot in the scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was during spring, the film we were watching at that particular time.
What a move he made in that game. Second down, 11. Meyer out of the pocket, throws, intercepted. Intercepted by Murray. Veda Murray intercepts Rick Meyer, who was running to his left, threw back to his right, over his intended target.
Lou Holtz will have some counsel now and try to teach the young quarterback. This, too, is a bad decision. Now, watch. He's just a sophomore. Here's his first read. Steps up into the pocket nicely, but now has to throw back across his body, off balance, and the ball is woefully overthrown. And here comes Veda Murray, 4 interceptions last year. He makes the calls in the defensive secondary. He's the quarterback back there.
That is another turnover against Notre Dame, the third of the night. 2 fumbles and now an interception. 7:57 left in the contest. Wolverines by 3 with the football at their own 18. This is Vaughn. He can go over 200 on that carry. He does.
Jim, these are the most yards rushing allowed by Notre Dame since Blair Thomas rushed for 214 yards in 1987. So Vaughn does go over 200 and gets ever so close to Thomas's numbers.
21 carries, 202 yards. Almost 10 yards a carry. Second down and 5. Vaughn again. Vaughn is caught from behind by George Williams. Notre Dame has all 3 of its timeouts left. You know, Tennessee's already played 4 games, having opened the season now against Colorado. It's hard to believe. That's 4 games for them in the opener for these 2.
How about losing a running back? The talent of Chuck Webb and reloading with Thompson and coming in and continuing to play at the same level.
A timeout called by Notre Dame. They have 2 remaining. On 3rd and 4, the defense called the timeout. 6:55 left in the contest, and a big play coming up for the Wolverines. What more could you expect out of Michigan and Notre Dame? Well, of course, another close one. These 2 have a history of that, Timmy.
You are expecting a close one. The last 4 games at Notre Dame Stadium between these 2 clubs have come down to the final possession, decided by a combined total of 11 points. The Irish have won 17 straight games in this stadium. Their last loss was in 1986 against Penn State.
3rd down, 5, we'll call it. Stonebreaker showing blitz. Here they come. They get the pass away to Vaughn. Vaughn slashes back to the middle. A great move, and is tackled near the 1st down yardage. Notre Dame brought everyone on that one, it seemed.
Blitz coming. 42 showed his hand early. DeBose 31 coming from the outside. Gerbeck still cool. Sets up the screen. And then Vaughn running against pursuit. Runs right by people. Play was finally made.
Reggie Brooks tackled him, and it's a 1st down for Michigan. Got it by less than a yard. 6:30 to go. And a chance to use more of the clock. Vaughn with a 1-yard pickup. Sean Vaughn, though, really made that play to pick up the first down. There were defenders out there.
Look at number 50. That's Zorich. Immediately explodes off the ball, makes contact with the center. Steve Everett releases, gets off the block, and makes the tackle.
Second down, 9. Michigan at its own 30 with a 3-point lead. Bunch. This will set up 3rd and about 7 as he gains only 2. Demetrius DeBose on the tackle.
Notre Dame tried to shoot the gap. They were effective doing it. They moved Zorich off the nose, moved him over into a gap. They all slanted the opposite way of light. You know, this front 7, the strength of this defense has been somewhat beleaguered here tonight by the big Michigan linemen.
And they must come up with a play here with 5:20 to go. It's 3rd and 7. Gerbach sets up the screen, and Bunch is tackled by DuBose. Oh, he had to make the play because there was enough room there otherwise for Bunch to pick up the first. Now the Wolverines will punt.
You know, I immediately watched that play and think of what Darnell told us when we met with him yesterday, the defensive coordinator. He said Grimm used to be the starter, but DuBose, he closes so fast with 4.5 speed once a play starts, and that's exactly what happened that time. He read his key, stayed with his man, the swing out of the backfield, and closed on it quickly.
With no pressure, the punt is away by Ascona. And a rocket is tackled immediately by Welburn. Good special teams play by Welburn tonight, as well as a sack of a quarterback. Running back a couple of punts for big yardage. But now Notre Dame takes the field. The Irish trailing by 3. 12 hours from right now. Craig and Terry, Leslie and Pat will be there. And in big game early, Chicago, Green Bay. Most will see that. And late, the headliner is Washington, San Francisco. But check your local listings, game and time in your area. From the 24-yard line. 76 yards away from a possible victory. Meyer throws over the head of Smith at the 45.
Meyer's pass intended for Tony Smith, incomplete.
Ricky Waters is going to go back to the huddle, and he's going to tell Meyer, he says, hey, listen, you run that play again, just look over the middle because I came free.
That is Lloyd Carr. He is the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines. Longtime Michigan assistant. Second down, 10. With all kinds of time, Meyer will run it out of bounds at the 27. Set up a 3rd and long.
He was just playing hide and seek back there behind Big G McGuire. McGuire's 6'5", 270, engaged in his block, and it looked like he was just dancing toe-to-toe with his man, and Meyer just hid behind him for a few seconds, couldn't find a receiver, and finally took it to the sidelines. Interesting. In it a year ago, they were saying, boy, I hope nothing happens to Tony Rice.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, we'll have to play the freshman, Rick Meyer. Now they're saying, boy, I hope nothing happens to Meyer.
Gene McGuire, the left tackle, helped give him protection on that play. Now 3rd down and 6. Pump fake. Now rolling, somewhat unsure, but now on target to Smith, and a 1st down at the 42-yard line. Ho-ho, gain of 13.
Again, it was McGuire that gave him the shield. Watch number 76. See him in the left ear corner, but this is the same kind of throw he had intercepted just a little while ago. Tried to throw across his body, off balance, pushed. Gain of 13. Strong throw. Nice play by Smith, too. Sat down, made the curl, got in the hook pattern, raised his hand, let the quarterback know he was there.
Tell you what's interesting. The clock that Rick Meyer is facing, looking straight ahead, has gone out. It shows nothing. Here's an option play on 1st down. Ricky Waters, 1st down and into Michigan territory at the 43. We're under 4 minutes to go. And the one clock that is working is that Notre Dame's back.
Watch Waters now, ranked among the nation's leaders over his career, all-purpose yards, averages 12 yards every time he touches it. You know, he played in one of the most impressive backfields in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania you'll ever see. Waters was in there along with Sean Borowski, who went to Penn State, now is at Syracuse. James Bryant, who plays at Ohio State. They all played out of the wing T.
Waters set out now as a receiver at the bottom of your screen. First and 10. They set it up for Culver. Breaks away from one tackle and is inside the 40. Brian Townsend takes him down. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. You see Rick Meyer looking behind at the scoreboard clock in the other end zone. That's the only one working, just keeping track of the time. Straight ahead, it shows nothing on the board. That's the Rocket carrying for a first down, Notre Dame.
There'll be a measurement.
Well, gave it to him a little early because now they've decided to bring out the chains and check for the first. 2:40 on the clock.
First down, Notre Dame.
First down for the Irish. So we'll start up the clock. And again, Meyer has nothing to look at. He has to look behind him to keep track of it, as you see. On first and 10, swings it over to Ismail to the 29-yard line. Staying in bounds, and the clock will run. You know, the kids on this team, the football team, especially Waters and Zurich, in the spring, tagged Meyer with the nickname of Montana. That came from the team, not from the media. And anybody who knows about Joe Montana's career, and that's all football fans, they know that Montana's the greatest ever at bringing a team back. Meyer attempting to do that here. Second and 6. First down, Notre Dame inside the 20. A gain of 11.
Boy, what a night Rodney Culver's having. You say, well, he wasn't involved in that play. Hey, I'll tell you something. He throws the block that makes this play work. Watch number 5 right here. That block sets Meyer free where he can throw, get a good push, and get it out to Rocket.
That throw with a lot of zip, and continues to throw most of the time on rollouts. But first and 10, Notre Dame. Now 1:45 left. 2 timeouts for each team.
Look who's wide. It's Derek Brown.
He's rolling that way. Instead, it's Gerald at the goal line. Notre Dame takes the lead. Extra point, high snap, but the kick is up on its way and good. A good job there by Sexton on the hold. 28-24, Notre Dame over Michigan. 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns for the Irish.
Derek Brown lined up wide, Gerald inside. Both receivers somehow ended up in the same area, but watch this. Either one could have made the catch. See 86 here, that's Brown, 10, Gerald. It's It's unusual to see the tight end go out that wide, but the scouts say he's like Keith Jackson or Kellen Winslow. Here they get him involved, and then Gerald comes right underneath of him. See that?
Could not have asked for a better pass. The first touchdown pass of Rick Miers' career at Notre Dame. But still, 1 minute 40 seconds remaining for this man. Gary Moeller. Adrian Gerald with the go-ahead touchdown. Sophomore from Athens, Georgia.
How about Meyer in that drive? 5 for 6, 52 yards.
Gerback will have his chance. The kick will be run out by Howard. He's got room. Howard to the 40. And then met head on by Craig Hendrick, the kicker. A 41-yard return. And I'll tell you, the kicker didn't back down. Hendrick stood him right up.
Notre Dame players stay in their lanes, but everybody in a white jersey puts a hat on somebody. He cuts it up here. Watch what he does to the kicker, though. You said the kicker, Hendrick, made the tackle, but watch. Puts him right on his back. We call that a pancake.
From the 41, great starting position. Gerback intercepted. Reggie Brooks. Two timeouts remaining for Michigan. They can only stop the clock twice. Michigan entered this quarter with a 24-14 lead. Flag is down.
Delay of game again. If you watch this, you'll see that number 41, Brooks, is actually given too much cushion, but the ball's overthrown. The receiver drops in between the linebacker and the secondary, and the ball's overthrown. That's a tough play. You know, that's a bad decision by the quarterback. There's no way he could have gotten that in there.
No question about it. That was a real force, and he overthrew his man as well. And Reggie Brooks makes the interception.
You saw Andre Jones, number 7, the outside linebacker. He had gotten back into his hook area. Brooks was back on his corner. Well, I tell you what, when you get a receiver in the middle of those two guys, that's a difficult throw. I don't care if you're Joe Montana.
1st and 15 now. Meyer will roll it and keep it and slide smartly. Don't want to keep running out there where you might get bumped out of bounds and stop the clock. Here's the timeout called by the Wolverines, leaving them with one timeout remaining for Michigan. Number 1, Notre Dame has come back to take the lead and has the football. Well, the Moeller era began tonight for Michigan. Yes, he had coached the team in a fill-in role back in '88 in the Hall of Fame, but this is his first game, and Rick Miers as well. Meyer has led his team back, throwing the touchdown to put him in front just moments ago. Here on 2nd and 13, he dives to the 49. And the Wolverines use their last timeout. With 1 minute 2 seconds to go, it's conceivable Michigan can get the football back.
It is that. 1:02, 2 plays left. offensively. They have to stop them. They have to get the ball back. They will have some time, not very much.
Look at Lou Holtz bring the whole offensive unit over to talk about it. Top 10, this is the way it started today. Auburn won, Florida State a victory. BYU came from behind. USC upended Penn State. Tennessee now 3-0-1 with a landslide victory tonight. Nebraska, Colorado suffers a 1-point loss, and Miami wins against California. Well, you know, you see players built up often before they've even taken the field, like a Jennifer Capriati in tennis, how her career had been brought up all before the nation, and she delivered. Rick Meyer tonight, same thing for Notre Dame.
He sure has. 14 of 23, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he did exactly what Lou Holtz told him to do. Play within the system, protect the ball.
Let's see what Lou elects to do here. 3rd and 9 with 1:02 left. Culver is the one back. Brooks on a wing. Meyer will handle it. No exchanges. It'll be 4th down from the 45 of Michigan.
Well, they almost let him squeeze out of there.
They haven't started the down clock. They haven't set it. Now they do. Notre Dame can run it down to about 21 seconds and take a delay of game penalty if they want.
I'll tell you this. Michigan's lining up for a punt return, but Meyer's still in the ball game. Lou Holtz is just going to use as much of the clock as he possibly can. The clock continues to roll. There's 4 seconds on the play clock. So when Michigan gets it back here, they're going to have 22 seconds left.
Notre Dame took the timeout with 1 second left on the down clock. Now they bring the offensive unit out. The punting team getting last-second instructions from Lou Holtz.
I'll tell you this, great coaches have the ability to adapt to personnel, adapt to changing times, and nobody adjusts to personnel better than Lou Holtz, and he's one of the best game coaches in the business, sideline coach. That was a brilliant move right there. Melt the clock, melt it down to 22 seconds, then give it back to him.
It's interesting, earlier in this situation from this distance, he used Jimmy Sexton as his punter, but he's going with Craig Hendrick now. Hendrick is the regular punter for Notre Dame. You read Lou's lips after Michigan scored its last touchdown to go up by 10. Yes, he was furious and he was intense, but he said we can come back.
He did say that. I'll tell you why they're using this punter now. You don't want to pooch punt here. You don't want to take a chance on a return. You want to just get this thing out of there. Just blast it. Get a good hang time.
Lance Johnson, the important task of snapping it back to Hendrick. A good snap. Big rush. The kick is off the side of Hendrick's foot. And they'll mark it at the 28-yard line.
Not exactly what they wanted, but they didn't get the return out of it, and you still have 15 seconds left. That was a 17-yard punt. Good pressure by Michigan.
Now 15 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Wolverines. You know they'll have Alexander in there along with Desmond Howard. Let's check first, though, the Notre Dame secondary in there. Todd Light.
They're going to have a soft cushion. You've got
Greg Davis, Poorman, and Reggie Brooks is in for Rod Smith.
Victory defense.
Van Dyne is the extra receiver for the Wolverines. Straight downfield, almost caught. Alexander in the middle of the field.
Time for one more.
This Notre Dame comeback fueled by a 3rd and 15 pass completion of 44 yards to Lake Dawson. You cannot ignore that as one of the key turnaround points of this ball game.
You know, we saw at the last snap, if you saw the picture, none of the secondary guys were even in the picture. They're 40 yards downfield. Matter of fact, Portman's all the way back to the 25.
4 linemen will rush. The other 7 defenders are past the 50. Here comes Chris Zorich trying to end it quickly. And the clock expires. Notre Dame has come from behind to claim victory in its season opener. History of close games in the 80s between these two, all won by Notre Dame, and yet another close one to open the 90s. Let's go down to John Dockery.
Lou, you were down by 10 points, yet you turned to your team and you said, we can come back. Were you that confident?
Well, I think you have to believe that. I believe in our football players. I give Michigan a great deal of credit. Their game plan was super. We've never had anybody move the ball on us like that since my first year at Notre Dame. And I give Michigan credit, but I'm very proud of our players. They just found a way to win. But Michigan really deserved a great deal of credit.
They certainly did. They played one heck of a game. You told us your quarterback was going to be a good one, and he is.
He is. He can play much better. He overthrew Tony Smith there. Critical, but you know, he kept his poise and he did compete and did the things we had to do to win. We had 3 turnovers, and boy, you can't do that against a team like Michigan.
Thanks a lot, Lou. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Jim Nantz.
A great victory to open the season for the Fighting Irish. They raised their helmets to the stands, saluting their opening game victory. Coming back from 10 down to win it against the Wolverines. And the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Rick Meyer, 14 of 23, including the winning touchdown pass in the final 2 minutes. And John Vaughn from Michigan, the sophomore, rushed for 201 yards, caught another 6 passes for 41 yards. The Chevrolet most valuable players now will see their schools get a $1,000 check for the General Scholarship Fund from Chevrolet, rewarding outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. So for Tim Brandt and John Dockery, this is Jim Nantz saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium, where the final score is Notre Dame 28, Michigan 24. Next Saturday, college football continues on CBS with 2 conference matchups. Most of you will see San Diego State in a Western Athletic Conference shootout against Brigham Young from Provo, Utah. Others will watch an SEC clash between the Hedges, Alabama and Georgia, the Crimson Tide, trying to get Gene Stallings his first victory. Don't forget tomorrow, doubleheader day on CBS. NFL Today gets it started at 12:30 Eastern. Our coverage features Chicago and Green Bay early and Washington and San Francisco later. Check your local listings for the games and times in your area.